You see, skills isn't enough because you have to recognize that the skills that you have is only because it's something that you have learned. Okay? Your skills that you have can be improved by learning something new. One thing that I learned while reading books is that there's a lot of information in these books. My first book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And when I read this book, it gave me a different perspective of life. It gave me a different perspective of life because it gave me it gave me the way two different people thought. One with money, one without money, and how they thought about themselves, how they thought about life, and how they thought about opportunity. So as I'm reading this book, I'm like, oh, this book is good. I ain't had my dad in my life. I know my dad, but he wasn't in my life like that. I know him. But this book is different because it gives you a story. It connects, and it says that if you have a rich dad and a poor dad, just because you have both dads or just because you have a dad doesn't mean that he think differently, or doesn't mean he is different, or doesn't mean that he can be different. What the book did for me is that it taught me that people can change the way that they're thinking. They just have to have a plan by the way that they're going to change. And in one perspective, the poor dad wasn't able to change because he was already stuck in his ways. You know, on the other hand, the rich dad was constantly changing, evolving, and learning, and being a student. And it taught me that if you remain a student, not only will you be able to seize the opportunity, you can create new opportunities from your discipline, from your study, and what you have been learning. Because you can get better, you can improve, and you can develop within yourself. You see, when you are planning ahead, you're planning for opportunity. And the reason why they go hand in hand with one another is because when you're planning ahead, opportunity comes from the plan. When we was on the road for 24 hours, we stopped maybe 10 times. Maybe 10 times, maybe even more. I'd rather stop 10 times than to sleepy, or to drive sleepy, I'm sorry. I'd rather stop 10 times rather than drive sleepy. And so, on this trip, I didn't even know what a resting place was. We ended up going to a resting place where we can just park the car and go to sleep. I said, uh-oh, you should have never showed me that. Because I stopped an additional 9 times. But see, here's the thing. When you are planning ahead, you have to give yourself grace enough to rest. To take action. To take enough time to get you to a certain destination. When you use the GPS to go from point A to point B, they don't say what's going on between point A and point B. Why does that matter? Because obstacles are going to come. Challenges are going to be created. And opportunities come from the plan. The opportunity that came from the plan when we left Florida and went to Atlanta, with the opportunity that came was one, we was blessed to be able to evacuate. Like, we left at a good time, and since we was able to leave at a good time, we kind of beat the traffic, got caught in the traffic, but it wasn't as bad as the traffic that was here as the hurricane was coming, as Hurricane Milton was coming. And it taught us, and it taught me, that you can have the best plan. You can plan as much as you would like to. But it doesn't always mean your actions will go as planned.